Good morning and welcome to your Farm and Home Show. I'm Kristi Shive, and this morning we're visiting with Dr. Heather Norman Burgdolf. She's an associate extension professor and extension specialist in health and nutrition for the University of Kentucky. And today we are talking about carbohydrates. Heather, what are they and why do we need them?
Yes. So we're not saying carbohydrates a ton of times. We're going to be saying carbs. That's what they're often called when you hear someone talk about them in the media or on the news. Carbs are one of our three macronutrients in our diet. And so macronutrients, like the name suggests, it's a nutrient that we need very large quantities of it. So hence the term macro and then nutrient. And these are unique nutrients because they give our body energy. So the other two macronutrients we're not going to talk about today are protein and fat. So carbs are foods we eat. And honestly, we should be getting about half of our energy, the fuel that our body needs each day, from carbohydrates. So they are foundational when it comes to us meeting our energy needs, and the other nutrients that we need in our body too. One of the main reasons we need carbs each day is because some parts of the body, like our brain, choose carbs over any other type of fuel. That is their preferred fuel type. We even have some cells and tissues in our body that can only use carbs for energy. So they are very important. Our body can even store them for later use because, again, that shows how important they are, that we have them available when we need them. And then also, whenever we aren't taking in carbs at all, our body's going to kick on processes to make sugar because, again, that just shows how important they are for our cells and our tissues to be able to work the right way. So when possible, we really want to try to include high quality carbs in the diet to get the most nutritional bang for our buck. So high quality carbs, they're going to give us more nutrients than maybe other carb sources. So in addition to that fuel or energy for our cells to work, they're also going to give us additional nutrients that are kind of like a bonus. So often when we think about carbs, we tend to think about the grains group, right? So bread and pasta and pastries, that's what we naturally think about. And those are all sources of carbohydrates, but we actually get carbs from the fruit group, the vegetable group, the dairy group, and even some of our protein foods as well. So right there, that just shows you how important carbohydrates are because they can be found in all five food groups that you would see on my plate. So some examples of high quality carbs are going to be, whole fruits that have the peel on when appropriate, vegetables in all forms, foods that are made from whole grains or whole wheat, unsweetened dairy products, and even beans and legumes. So again, examples from all five food groups. These foods are all great sources of energy, and they're going to give you lots of fiber, vitamins, and minerals. So when possible, we should try to eat these types of foods because we get that additional nutritional bonus when we choose them.
For decades, we have heard about different versions of low carb diets. This is a pattern that many people look to for weight loss. What would you say about low carb diets?
Just so everyone kind of is on the same page, low carb diets, they're going to be dietary patterns where people are strictly limiting the amount of carbs that they eat each day. And often they're going to replace that energy with something else. So most likely getting more energy from fat and protein. The problem is when we do this, we're actually removing some really nutritious foods and beneficial nutrients from the diet, specifically fiber, because fiber really is found in a lot of our grain-based foods. It's also more difficult to get a variety of nutritious foods in the diet when you're eliminating an entire macronutrient. And like I said, it's found in all five food groups. So it can be really hard and confusing to follow because it's in so many different foods. As far as weight loss goes, research does show us that people may lose weight initially when starting a low carb diet, but this is often from water weight. And it's actually difficult to sustain over time. Now, for some people who are managing chronic conditions like diabetes, you really need to work with a healthcare provider, but there is space for high quality carbohydrates in all dietary patterns for people who are managing chronic conditions. So hopefully, if you are managing a chronic condition, you have access to talk to a registered dietitian because your personalized dietary needs might be a little bit different. But from the perspective of a low carb diet, no, there's really no additional benefit. We really want to encourage a balance, a variety of foods over time, and that can include high quality carbohydrates as well.
If you would like more information on carbohydrates, be sure to contact your local extension office. Thanks for joining us today on the Farm and Home Show, and we'll see you next time.